few days of this Congress. We put in $13.6 billion. Now this is the funding, and I was showing some of you, there's a document, and some of you in here are familiar with it, because it's put up together by the VFW, the DAB, and all of the groups that, the Veteran Service Organizations. This is the independent budget. And those of you who are familiar with this is all of the Veteran Service Organizations getting together and saying, this is what needs to be done for our veterans. Yes, this is about lobbying. It's lobbying for veterans. And they bring the best and the brightest experts in on this, from medical to the economists and everything. And they say, here's what we believe. We've got this number of veterans. This is how much the care is going to cost. This is how much you're going to budget. Every single year that they put this out, the budget has been below this. Now, what are these people asking for? Are they asking for perks for Halliburton? Are they asking for special interest for oil companies? No, they're asking for expanded health care and better treatment for our veterans. So my take on this is, if you see some of your representatives in Congress, if they don't know what this is and they can't find the tabs in it, I would tell them you don't really support the veterans, so quit standing in front of them. That's exactly the way this is. And I've been frustrated. What you're seeing on this chart is, this is the prescribed budget, the 5-year budget for veterans care. The administration's requests are in red. The Congress's requests are in blue. The Congress's requests match the independent budget for the first time in history. Do they have it? The $13.6 billion that was put into veteran care in the first 4 months of this Congress represents the single largest increase in the 77-year history of the VA, of trying to correct that. Legislation went through on traumatic brain injury. I had a piece of legislation that passed out of the Veterans Affairs Committee last week, establishing 5 centers of excellence around the country to focus on traumatic brain injury. Research, reintegration, and help for families to get them back in. And I was told on Friday, before I came back last night, that it appears like one of those is going to be centered here, somewhere in probably the 1st District, is what they're looking at, to try and address this issue and coordinate somewhere in Minnesota, at least, with the Veterans Hospital, the Polytrauma Center up there. We've taken an active role. This Congress opposes any increases in fees. They want to have co-pays and fees for veterans going to see the VA hospital. What we need to do is we need to be very clear what that is. That's a combat or a veteran's tax. Now, if you're for that, just say that. Because we hear all about how, oh boy, they're going to raise taxes on us, and we hear all the rhetoric on that. Actually, if we do raise taxes, it's going to be on the top 0.8% of wage earners making more than $6 million a year. And we're going to reduce the taxes on the veterans going to see the VA hospital. That's the way it's set up. That's what this nation was founded on. So those are procedures, or those are things that we've made happen. We've also going to make sure, and that's being talked about, is the concurrent receipt issue. Many of you understand that. You understand if you're injured and you're also receiving retirement, the offset on there. We always felt that that was an unfair tax also. We're talking about providing oversight to the Veterans Affairs Committee. Last week, and many of you know this, in this budget, by the way, the budget for 2008 actually cut money from prosthetic limb research. They cut $3 million from prosthetic limb research, and that's the research that goes into building the new prosthetics for the soldiers that are coming back. We actually saw a decrease in that, and we saw that was about $4 million they cut from that. 2 weeks ago, the VA announced for some of their highest people at the top, their administrators, they were going to receive $3.9 million in bonuses. The gentleman who was going to receive $33,000, the highest bonus in the federal government, was the gentleman responsible for the 600,000 person backlog and the 177-day waiting period it takes to get into the VA. Oh, I said, that's fine, you can do that, but it's going to be over my dead body. And I said, here's what I'd like you to do. Each one of you receiving bonuses, I'd like you to go out to my local VFWs and tell people why you think you deserve the bonus and the soldiers don't. Now, this week again, we asked for an increase of 0.5% soldier pay, $6 a month for the average soldier, and an increase of $40 a month survivor benefits for the spouses of people who lost people in Iraq. The administration said it was unnecessary and vowed to veto it. Now, those are the realities. People can stand in front of you and say whatever they want. It depends on what's being put in the budget, what's being voted on, and how it's being directed and the oversight provided. The VA is not just about, this is important, but it's not just about money. It's how the money is being allocated and the oversight provided to it. The ability to be able to direct that money exactly where it's needed, to be able to direct that money to make sure that, yes, we're taking care of the health benefits, but we're also taking care of getting people back into the job market. We're really going to push legislation to have people be encouraged to hire veterans. There's a survey came out this week.